You literally see something new every single time you come to Animal Kingdom and look at the Tree of Life. I'm sitting on an alligator, or crocodile, or whatever it is. Hello everyone, I am Taylor with the WDW Couple, one half of the WDW Couple, and today we are at Disney's Animal Kingdom because we are taking a trip back in time to take a look at the history and secrets of the Tree of Life. Behold the breathtaking artistry, the sculpted tree that wordlessly expresses the intricate balance of nature. Located on Discovery Island, the Tree of Life vividly commemorates all living things and the place they share in the great circle of life. As the centuries march on, the meaning of the word icon has expanded. Today, an icon can be 2- or 3-dimensional likeness that represent an object, idea, or place by virtue of a resemblance or analogy to it. Or it can be an actual object that represents a greater whole. Marketing firms now know this well and use icons to sell their goods and products. And beginning in 1955 in California, the site of Sleeping Beauty Castle, the icon of Disneyland, made us long to visit the happiest place on Earth. Here in Walt Disney World, we have Cinderella Castle, Spaceship Earth, and originally the Eiffel Tower. So when Imagineers began thinking about Disney's Animal Kingdom in 1989, they knew this new park would also need an icon to represent it to the world. But what could that be? The Tree of Life was the answer to this difficult question. This icon would impart the message of Animal Kingdom with a single glance. A gigantic tree would represent the abundant plant life on the planet, and the many creatures that would be carved into its bark would symbolize the vast array of animals that call Earth home. However, the Tree of Life did not start out as the mighty structure that it has now become. Early designs called for a tree that would be 50 feet high and that would actually act as a playground for children. As ideas for the tree began to evolve and grow, a viewing platform was envisioned within its branches where guests could survey Safari Village, which is now Discovery Island, and the lands beyond. As the tree continued to grow in concept, so did the Imagineers' ideas. One early plan called for an eatery to be beneath the tree and called the Roots Restaurant. But this idea was eventually abandoned in favor of a theatrical show. However, placing a restaurant or a theater beneath such a large structure would create engineering problems. The tree needed to withstand hurricane-force winds, and a large room built directly under the tree's trunk would make constructing a proper foundation very difficult. The idea for the Tree of Life came to a standstill until a solution could be found. An answer to the problem came from one of the Imagineers who was home watching an educational television program about offshore oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. Upon seeing the type of structure used in this endeavor, he knew immediately that the Tree of Life could move forward. The free-span oil drilling platform offered a wide base, large enough to house a good-sized room, and a narrow center section for the tree's trunk, and then expanding into the top section capable of supporting branches. After preliminary studies were made, a drilling platform was purchased and shipped to Tampa. From there, it was trucked to Animal Kingdom and erected on site. Since Animal Kingdom's opening on April 22nd, 1998, the theater beneath the roots of the Tree of Life has hosted the 4D show It's Tough to Be a Bug. With the same skillful attention to detail, the infrastructure was camouflaged, creating a cave-like atmosphere that befits the unique show. As you get deeper and deeper under the tree, you become smaller, and it would appear that you are now the size of the bugs around you. In this 420-seat theater, the movie features many of the same characters from the original Pixar movie, A Bug's Life, including Flick the Ant. The debut of It's Tough to Be a Bug was a bit unusual for Disney, however. While Disney often waits to create attractions based on movies after they are certified hits, It's Tough to Be a Bug is a rare attraction based on a movie that actually debuted before the movie was released. Pixar's A Bug's Life didn't premiere until 7 months after the attraction's opening in November 1998. The next problem in building the Tree of Life to tackle was the branches. In order to withstand winds in excess of 74 miles an hour, it was believed that the limbs would need to be made out of a rigid, non-flexible material like steel. In order to make the project cost-effective, the branches would need to be mass-produced. This would dictate that the limbs would need to be of equal size and of identical shape. However, uniformity is not found in nature. When wireframe drawings and artist renderings were completed, the tree resembled an inflexible geodesic dome more than a glorious tree. So to solve these problems, the Imagineers first developed a flexible injection molded fiberglass to create the branches. These would range in size from 2 feet in circumference at the trunk to 2 inches where the leaves would attach at the end. And since the material was flexible, the limbs would move in the wind just like an actual tree. Next, a way to attach identical branches in a random pattern was needed. For this problem, 32 balls were created and secured to the tree. From each ball, 1 or 2 secondary branches could be attached in various positions. Special expansion joints allowed the secondary limbs to move when a breeze passes through. From these branches, smaller tertiary boughs could be attached, twisted and turned to create a natural shape. In some cases, branches would be omitted from a standard socket in an effort to create a more chaotic appearance. When completed, the Tree of Life had 12 primary branches, 45 secondary branches, 756 tertiary branches, and 7,891 end branches, to total up to more than 8,000 branches. So, have you ever wondered the measurements of this massive tree? Well, it stands 145 feet tall and is 165 feet across. Now for the leaves, the Imagineers worked with outside firms to develop a natural-looking leaf that would withstand wind, heat, cold, and moisture. In addition, the leaves could not be allowed to fade in the sun, so they also needed to resist the effects of ultraviolet light. In the end, approximately 102,000 leaves, each over a foot long, were created and attached to the Tree of Life. They come in 5 shades of green, and they are able to rustle in the wind just like a real leaf. The branches and leaves were assembled on the ground and then lifted into place by a crane. It's interesting to note the final design and shape of the Tree of Life was based on a specific bonsai tree that Imagineers discovered at an early Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. Of course, the real fascination of the tree is not just the tree itself, but the animals that are carved into its trunk and roots. Do you know how many animals are actually carved into the tree? According to Disney, there's over 300, but some other sources say there's over 325, which is a lot of animals. To create this work of art, an international team of artists were assembled. Those not already a part of the Disney team all had their own studios and had proven themselves in various media in advance of the project. They began designing the exterior of the tree on a small model. This model only duplicated a rough approximation of what the Imagineers wanted to recreate in real life. The model was then cut into 4x4-inch sections. Each section was then scored into 1-inch intervals. A stylus was run along the scoring and the information recorded into a computer. This data was next sent to a rebar bending machine that recreated the shape in actual size. Finally, the rebar was attached piece by piece to the trunk of the tree and welded into place. The attachment of the rebar took 12 weeks to complete. Next, the rebar was covered with metal lath, a chicken wire type metal. This would act as the skin to which concrete would be applied. Scaffolding, approximately 6 feet wide, circled the tree on multiple levels. This would provide the artists with a place to work their magic. The animals were carved out of a special plaster-like cement that was applied at a depth of 2 to 4 inches over the first layer of concrete. The artists worked from top down, and each could complete approximately 6 to 8 square foot area within the 6 to 7 hours the concrete was soft enough to sculpt. This would equate to roughly 1 average-sized animal. Coloring and texture was also a consideration. Various shades of browns and greens were used to create shadows and depth. When the painting was done, a final coat of polyurethane was added to shield the figures from harmful ultraviolet rays which would fade the paint. For texture, 3 types of tree bark were emulated when creating the various animals: banyan, oak, and cedar. Samples of each were kept nearby for the artist to study. For example, the stripes on the tiger resemble banyan bark, while the octopus's skin is modeled on oak. No particular scale was used when adding the animals to the tree. For example, here you can see an ant as large as an ape's face. Yet, despite the disregard to size, the animals all blend together seamlessly. It took a team of 10 artists and 3 Imagineers working full-time for 12 months to complete the carvings. In all, the Tree of Life took over 2 years from the beginning of construction to its finished beauty. Did you know that there's a bunch of secret paths around the Tree of Life? These paths can get you up close and personal here to the Tree of Life so you can see all these beautiful animals. These trails are actually called the Discovery Island Trails, and sometimes you may even run into some of your favorite Disney characters for a meet and greet. There is a lot of vegetation at the entrance to the trails, which makes them harder to find. They are open to the public, and it is just a great place to get up close and personal here. So I know it's still daytime right now, But after night falls, pay special attention to the Tree of Life. Approximately every 10 minutes, flickering fireflies magically appear and stir the life of wondrous animal spirits carved into the tree's towering trunk, which bring to light a stunning visual swarming with vivid color and animated imagery. So now that I've given you the real story of the Tree of Life, let me give you the Disney legend, a story to tell those who want to believe in magic. Once upon a time, no vegetation would grow on Discovery Island. There were no trees, no shrubs, no flowers, nothing. It was a barren place of land. Then, one day, a tiny ant planted a seed and made a wish. He asked for a tree to grow, a tree large enough to provide shelter for all the animals. Magically, the ant's wish came true, and a tree began to grow. And it kept growing until there was room beneath its limbs for all the animals from A to Z. And as the tree continued to reach for the heavens, the images of all the animals that took shelter beneath its shade appeared on its trunk and branches and roots. So I have now given you the history, the secrets, and a little bit of Disney magic here at Disney's Animal Kingdom about the Tree of Life. So if you have been here and you have seen the Tree of Life, let us know in the comments below what is your favorite thing about the Tree of Life.